know you in Chicago when you see this shit. About to do a quick podcast. Should be fun and interesting. She's a very interesting woman, so you know she's a AKA, so
yes. That's why you see all this pink and green.
It is everywhere. Like, oh my god. Oh,
do not shoot the rest of my house.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk about a few things and go from there. There we go.
Hey babes, welcome to another episode, and today we have a guest, and it is a male guest. So I know this is kind of a different change up because I usually bring you guys females, entrepreneurs for you to learn from, but I thought about introducing a new perspective for the show. So today I have with me Larry the photographer. So me and Larry kind of connected at him doing one of his consultations, or I would say works for one of a sorority sisters of mine, and looking at Larry's Instagram and also his feed is really interesting how he captures models, any other artists that's in Chicago or throughout the United States, and it's pretty interesting. So I wanted to bring him on because I know within the Business Babe Army we have other photographers, we also have models, we also have speakers, all of that. So, and this episode is also being recorded, so I will be sharing the links to that below. So work with me here if you're watching, and my little bloopers and his little bloopers. But this is definitely going to be, I feel like, a real jam-packed little episode of just us conversating about the different aspects of learning from a male perspective for females to interpret entrepreneurship. So without further ado, I'll allow Larry to introduce himself.
Alright guys, this is Larry F.E.Y. Also, I'll say the ultimate entrepreneur. Here, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Just moved back to Chicago 2 years ago from LA. That's pretty much it for now. I don't want to give out too much, so yeah.
Well, thank you, Larry, for coming on the show. So I think the most important to talk about is really the world of photography.
Right.
So how did you really get into photography, and what was it a passion for you? Like, what made it so interesting that you wanted to begin to take your own camera and invest in yourself, in your gifts that you have?
Right. Photography is kind of tricky because I was always into filmmaking. Filmmaking is my real passion. Making movies or skits or just documentary films. But I really got into photography as a kid. I seen my sisters take pictures and stuff, and they always took a lot of pictures, and I was wondering, like, man, like we can never get that time back again in life. And I always thought, like, all right, I maybe want to take pictures as a profession, but I didn't know what it was as a kid. And I thought it was always magical in a way where you can pretty much steal time by taking a photograph, and it lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? That moment in time that you would never get back. So I always thought that was interesting, and that was like my way of like taking up photography and taking up filmmaking too, in the same aspect, just to join the both together or whatever. But yeah, that was like how I thought about it. I mean, taking pictures is really still in time.
Yeah. So how did your, let's say, like, what led up to you taking that investment? Like, what was that day like when you said, I need to get a camera, I need to set up a shoot, and I'm gonna go viral with it, or I'm gonna start with it?
Right. When I say, because I've been doing photography and filmmaking consistently only for a year now. So it was a situation where I was going to be a father, and I was like, oh man, I need to be serious about what I want to do, because I was just working a 9-to-5 at a corporate job, and I was like, all right, is this something that I love to do? Do I want my child to grow up, being like, all right, this is my father. He just works a job. He didn't really do with his passion. And I had a wake up call, and I was like, all right, let me do what I love to do. So I start investing the things that I love to do, because I had something that was going to grow up to, you know, be a part of me. And I'm like, all right, let me start being serious about everything. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't say I wasn't serious about life, but when you're gonna have a kid, that's something serious about life. Yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't have the kid. Didn't go through whatever. But that made my passion even stronger. That making me want to do more the things that I love. You know, and that, you know, the pain or whatever the case may be, it just made me just want to do things that I love. You know, I advise everybody to do what they love and never do anything where you're just not passionate about it. You know, you have to be passionate about everything, because you will look back at your time and you wonder like, wow, what did I do with my life? And if you do something you love, you're like, oh man, this is something I love to do with life. So always go for it.
So how was like your first shoot? Like, were you nervous? Like, how did they contact you? Did you contact them to build your portfolio? Like, how did that all play out for you?
My first shoot, it was cool. It was actually, I was a lady. I was a young lady. I was dealing with at the time. She's a beautiful woman. I'm like, let me take your pictures, you know, so I can get my, you know, started off. And she's like, for sure, because I did a few pictures in college. You know, I went to school for photography and filmmaking, but I didn't finish. But that's because life hit me real hard. So, you know, I think that's everybody. When you go through so many obstacles in life, you just switch up. But when I did my first shoot, I wasn't nervous at all, because I knew this is something I was destined to do. It was my passion. So once I did it, I'm like, all right, I want to do it more. You know, it's like, all right, let's do it. Let's do something else. I just put all my creative thoughts in mind to everything I want to do and just start doing it more. And because it's secularly, and took off from there.
Okay, so how did you begin to start setting up like your social media platform, your packaging for how you would price everything, or the shoots? Like, how did that also play out? Like, not being from the business background at all.
Right. I mean, working corporate America, you learn a lot. So I learned how big companies operate, you know, with a CEO, and I just observed how they operate things, and I took that mentality and I implemented into my own brand, into my own, you know, way of thinking, or how to be a CEO of your own way. And I just took their blueprint and just went for it myself, and just started doing what I had to do to find ways to be reasonable with my prices, and, you know, create a platform where it's noticeable. You know, I didn't want to be the typical photographer or whatever, but yeah, I just learned from seeing how big companies marketed their brands. Yeah. And that's what made me even have my name like F.E.Y brands, because I see these big companies, they're brands. Yeah. So I just learned from them.
Okay. So what do you think, or what do you think like the next move for you and your photography would be? You talk about the bigger brands, you talk about watching them and looking at the competition. Like, what do you feel is like something that you want to hit a goal for your photography business?
Because photography, it's always photography is life anyways. It's pictures. It's I really don't have a goal, honestly. My goal is just to be happy with what I'm doing, and just keep creating content, and let the universe bless me with, you know what I'm saying, resources, money that comes his way. You know, I think when you set goals, I mean, it's nothing wrong with setting goals, because setting goals makes you more determined. But sometimes when you let life just go with the flow, you know, it creates a beautiful reality for yourself. And that's my way of thinking. Like, I just go with the flow, even though I set like small goals or big goals, but yeah, I just go with the flow with them.
I think that's a really good point to make, because I feel like most people think when they're starting a business that they have to make sure that, which is true, you have to meet certain metrics, you have to see your point of progression, but also, like you said, this is your passion, this is your story you want to tell someone else's, or through your eyes, this is how you view the world, of view beauty. So I think that's really like a refreshing thing to think about when others are creating their own brand or taking pictures for themselves, whether it's for their product. Think about, like you said, the life and what it actually creates and how it makes someone feels about it.
Definitely. I mean, that's a great way of putting it.
So what are all your services that you do?
I do photography and do filmmaking as well. So photography is just to me, it's just a stepping stone, just a way to get my foot in the door to show like, hey, I do have a good eye, you know. But I offered like filmmaking, like short skits, movie scene skits, or commercials. So all that is just anything that has to do with a camera. I'm pretty much, that's what my company is going to do. We're going to just focus on anything that has to do with the camera, honestly. And so that's from video, videographer, camera, cinematography, the whole 9 yards. So
how, like, let's say if, you know, a photographer, female or male photographer is listening to this right now, what do you think is their best route to take in getting into the industry?
Don't create your own wave, create your own lane, never be the same as everybody else. You know, everybody doing the same thing. Be artistic, be creative, be clever. Don't be rudimentary, you know, don't be basic. Try to make your photos stand out where you have your own brand, you know, because you're a brand, you know. So don't be like, oh, I see a lot of photographers take pictures of, you know, lingerie models and stuff, and it's all look the same. But if you create a platform or create a different outtake or different way how you do it, you know, do it that way. Like, put that smiley face on the top of every picture. You know, be creative. Make people, oh man, I know that picture. That's his work because he had the smiley face at the top. You know what I mean? Just be creative with you do, when you do your work. Don't be the same.
I love that because, of course, with the podcast and then with my clients, I always talk about like brand development. So if you have a certain way that you're doing something, or you have something that sets you apart from everybody else, like you said, a certain eye. Like Picasso didn't get famous just because, you know, he had something that was completely different.
I love that.
Completely different.
I love
and there was another artist, I can't think of the name right now, but he's well known for just these abstract looks of how people are. And a lot of people know, I'm so sad that I don't remember exactly who he is, but he's in the Midway Airport, like some of his pictures. He's really well known. And he is extremely different.
Is he a photographer or painter? Or?
He's a painter.
Okay.
I can't remember the name right now. But he's really good and really dope at creating such a different aspect of how people look at things. He uses bold lines, some of like most of the primary colors. He doesn't really change any of that. And at times he also uses words, but the words are handwritten by him. It's not like text or texture based. Well, it is texture because he wrote it, but it's not like anything that's graphically designed. It's all by his hand. And I believe, I'm not mistaken, it's not Andy Warhol. It's somebody like, I forgot his name.
You got me, baby.
I know.
Let me Google this dude real quick.
I really can't remember his name exactly, but I know for a fact like he got in trouble like overseas in one of the museums. They took his art out because he had feet in it. It was something crazy, like it was something crazy.
Somebody
like
didn't like feet that day. Right?
Hey, no, they didn't.
Like a feet fetish and everything.
I don't know, but he's one of those artists that I really like, because he's just so different. And I think that is what, you know, sets brands apart. It could be your brand voice, maybe how you put up your content and what the text says underneath, like the caption,
or your story in general.
Exactly. So when I looked at which it will be in the show notes so you guys can look at his Instagram and also just his brand, you know, the difference in what I saw was the capturing of actually the city as well, and the beautiful parts of the city is which I liked the most about your photography. And the women are beautiful, of course, but at the same time, the background is very different and is very interesting. Like you said, there's so many photographers, especially in Chicago. There's so many entrepreneurs. There's so many artists. There's so many models. And what is going to set you different from that? And I think the beauty in, of course, working with you is that their portfolio will be different because you're taking in consideration something completely different rather than just their face and their physical appearance. Right. So there's so much more to photography than just a backdrop. You know, go outside and adventure, see other different things. Yeah. So I think that's really, to me, I feel like that's really, really personable to your brand and how that is. So do you feel like that's why the clientele that you get or the models that you get come to you?
Yeah, I believe so because I mean, I think I'm almost, I won't say master. I'm trying to master the art of just taking pictures outside because outside is just so, it's so organic and raw. Like you can't, that's the best backdrop to have. You know, just having the same plain white, blue, green, gray. It becomes commercial too much, and I want to stand out from just being commercialized. I want it to be artistic. And people, I mean, I think we in an age now where like we understand that art is beauty. You know, art wasn't as popular in like 2 or 3. I mean, it was always popular, but we're like in a renaissance now where it's becoming more vibrant and more beautiful. Yeah. You know, like how it was like in the 1920s or
exactly.
So, you know, so
I think people are getting a little bit more expressive and they're paying attention to what really, and tying into photography is also marketing too. You know, getting those shots that's going to pull somebody from looking at a regular update on Facebook to actually your product or to whatever you're selling. I think that's very huge. And, you know, hearing it from your standpoint that you make sure that within your brand, you're keeping your mission, which is I want to be unique. I want to be different. And I think us as business owners, when we think about taking product placement photos or any type of photo that we take for our brand, think about the story behind it and the creation behind it on an artistic level. And
that's the thing with my art. I wanted to tell a story, you know, because that's what filmmaking is. Like even, you know, when I don't do filmmaking, I want the picture to tell an interesting story, just not like, all right, this person's in the studio, they taking a picture. What is your picture telling? You know, so what is your picture telling the audience? I want a picture to say like, all right, what day of the month this is, what, you know, what was the time setting, what is going on with the world, you know what I mean? How is she feeling, you know, or what is she going through, what is she thinking, you know? I want to touch on like on all 5 sentences with just one frame. So I'll try to tell a story too with the pictures. I just didn't want to just be like, oh, she's smiling, but what's she smiling about? You know, what's her surroundings? You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I want people to pay attention to when I take pictures is what story is she telling, or if I'm taking a picture of a guy, what story is he telling?
That's so cool. I mean, like to get inside, like at the end of the day, yes, it's photography or yes, whoever does, let's say tattoo artistry, whatever, it's an artistry. So I think it's kind of dope to kind of hear it in your head, like what you're thinking and what are your goals for the shoot. And like you said, creating that story for every shot, I think that's really, really cool to kind of break down for people. So, and let's say it's somebody who's don't have a photographer or whatever the case, but to think about that when they're actually taking their own photos. You know, when you look at the competitors who are either photographers or either just any type of brand, how we know them is by what they put out. You know, and their photographer is putting out something of a different angle, of a different way of looking at things, and you have to, like you said, you have to figure out what is she looking at, what are her surroundings, what is this, what is that, and that picture usually gives it to them. So I think that's really, really, you know, cool to kind of hear like the back end side of how actually these pictures are like really, really captured, because we just get the picture, like we wouldn't know, you know. So it's kind of cool to figure out, or you know, be in the brain of that. So what do you, so I guess getting into your passion, where is your like favorite place to shoot?
Chinatown, actually. I don't know if it's because of the energy there in Chicago, but the energy in Chinatown is beautiful. Like it's a lot of peace. It's a lot of balance in a way. Around Chicago, it's you can I don't know if you're into energies and stuff like that, but you can feel the energy, like the rawness. Like if you like in a different environment, or they say a hood environment or whatever, you can feel the energy and the essence of it. So I'm gonna do more urban, like where I was raised and stuff, but I love being in Chinatown because it's just so freaking peaceful there, and that's beauty. In downtown Chicago as well, because downtown Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So
thank you. Some people don't think so. Thank you.
No, trust me. It's clean. It's beautiful. Look, it's one of the most beautiful.
You think it's clean?
Compared to some cities,
from here.
Oh my God.
Oh really? Okay, I heard that about New York. I heard New York was bogus.
Word. I never been there. My dad is from New York, so I'm gonna go to New York, but I haven't been there yet. My dad's from Harlem, so I definitely gotta check it out. But I've been to some cities. I was like, wow, Chicago is amazing. It is amazing.
Well, thank you for the shout out, me being born and raised, because some people feel a whole different way.
Right. I mean, I was born and raised here, so I mean, I love it. And even though I lived in LA for 5 years, and I love LA and the weather, but Chicago, oh my God. Even the food, like, oh my God, the food.
Thank you. I'll be trying to leave Chicago, but then I'll just be like, dang. Every time I go somewhere else and I'm like, okay, I think I want to move here.
Right.
I think I want to move here. I'm like, but it's not Chicago. Like, I get that in the back of my head, so I think like me taking this social sustainability, I guess, campaign where I'm helping other business owners, especially in Chicago, because there's so many of us, but we're so cliquish. We don't really network with each other, and I feel like we need to create a different vibe of Chicago entrepreneurs. It's not always like a competition. I feel like we can all have fun, we can all get money, we can all network. Yeah. We can all do those different things in Chicago for how big, the city is, and how amazing of different businesses we have, to be honest.
And I mean, if Chicago people was to like literally we was all to support each other, we all can be successful. A lot of cities already implemented that blueprint where, all right, you're doing something positive, I'm gonna try to help you get on. Atlanta, they got that down pat. Yeah. And if you're from Atlanta, they're gonna support you. Exactly. If you're doing something positive. In Chicago, we get into that though. Like I'm seeing it now that we're getting to that stage where, all right, you from Chicago? Oh, I'm from Chicago too? All right, let's support each other, let's help each other out. Yeah. If we get more of that and we keep doing that, people are gonna realize, well, Chicago is it's hard to reckon with.
I feel like we're starting to do that with the food. Like I've been seeing like a lot of black-owned businesses now popping up. I've been seeing a lot of like social groups pop up in Chicago, and networking events that we all are going to. I think if we keep that vibe going, we can definitely do like a whole lot more in regards to just our community. Like there's so many gyms that's in Inglewood or in Woodlawn area, or where I'm at,
area and everywhere.
Yeah, it's so many jewels that's in the city, and so many other programs that are out here to help anybody that's possibly struggling or trying to do whatever. And there's people out here looking for other black-owned businesses, other females or other males that's trying to get up and come up. And it's just like, I think that is the only barrier that we have in Chicago. We have this guard up and this fear up of helping.
Fear is just an illusion, everybody. Like, oh my God, if everybody just do not think of fear and just do it. Oh my God, you can go far.
So just kind of ending the episode, what do you feel would be the best advice to give someone who is trying to start a business?
Right. That's a really good question. Because it's not, you need a team. I do a lot of believe it or not, I do a lot of things on my own. I'm like 12 people in one. I'm the cameraman, I'm the videographer, the editor, the photographer, the director. I'm all in one. But if you start in a business and you make sure it's something that you love to do. I think that's key. That's super key. It has to be something you love to do. Yeah. If you're just doing something just for money buys you happiness in certain aspect, but it doesn't really buy you love in a way where you have a passion to doing it. I mean, some people passion is money, but most people I know who are very successful, the Steve Jobs of the world, the P. Diddy's in the world, it's something that they love to do. So
right.
Make sure you love to do it and take off. You know, don't give up, don't have doubt. If people doubt you, still do it because it's something that you love to do. Mm-hmm. So that's all I can really say about that.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast and really sharing your entrepreneurial journey and just the new things that you want to do and talking about your passion, and really just refreshing to hear the artistry side of entrepreneurship and really getting into it, because like you said, it is your love and it is your passion. Definitely. So it's definitely a different turn for the Business Babe podcast, but I think it will definitely be a refresher for the babes who are listening. So I want to thank you for coming on the show.
I appreciate the invite.
No problem. Well, at that note, we're going to end the episode, and thank you guys for listening.
All right. Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to chop this up. I'll probably chop this. I mean, it's a straight shot. Do you want to give yourself a shout out and all that?
Yes, YouTube. If you want to connect with me, my name is Natalie Rochelle on Facebook. That's my personal account. If you want to listen to the Business Babe podcast, I'm hopefully going to send him the show notes, links in the show notes, so it'll have for you to join the Facebook group that we have. Also, it'll be the Facebook page if you just want to keep updates, and then also for the Instagram page. So, I'm an entrepreneur. I have 4 different brands. This is just one of them where I help female entrepreneurs start up businesses, give them tips on how other entrepreneurs started, and then also, because I'm a corporate marketing manager, also my corporate tips that I have and how they've up-branded. So that's me in a nutshell. So thank you for allowing me to come on the YouTube channel.
You already know my slogan, guys. It's always one love. Namaste.